we're headed out of town for 7 days. We're fishing a whole bunch of different locations. We don't even really have a plan yet as far as 100% where we're going. We're gonna do some smallmouth fishing, maybe some trout fishing, some walleye fishing, and we're gonna fish all across northern Wisconsin and northern Minnesota. Stay tuned, it's gonna be exciting. We are hooked up, 220 feet out and counting. Fish on. Beautiful northern Minnesota walleye right there.
That was amazing, I can't believe we did it.
Are you rolling?
Yep.
What's going on, guys? So, we got blown off Lake Superior yesterday, and we made our way over to Minnesota. It's pretty windy out today too, so we stayed off some of the real big lakes, and we were hunting around some smaller water, and we have found some walleyes. So I've never been on this lake before in my entire life. I was recommended to fish this lake, so we're out here today. We got me, Shelby, and Surly in the boat. None of us have ever been here. And we're gonna show you how to break it down. It looks like a real clear lake. It's a really deep lake. So there's a deep weed line. Stay tuned, we're gonna show you what we find.
Rolling.
All right, guys, so as we're coming out of kind of like the bay here that the launch is in, you know, I'm looking at #1, weed lines. You know, it's kind of a big North Bay here. And the first thing I realized is that #1, the water's clear, which probably means a deeper weed line. And then I want to see where that weed line ends coming off the break. So I just took a screenshot, you guys can look at it here. That weed line ends at about 20 feet, which is a deep weed line. It's probably some cabbage, maybe some sandgrass, who really knows exactly what it is, but it's a deep weed line, right? And that's gonna hold a fish, especially a weed line that's 20 feet deep, really on any lake, especially clear lakes this time of year. So then I come over to my hummingbird here, and I set my depth highlight to basically, you know, a lot of times walleyes will set up in the midsummer period, they're gonna set up on that edge. So like, here's your weeds, here's your edge, and they're gonna set up right at that edge. So basically I wanna highlight my green, set it at about 20 feet, maybe 2 to 4 feet either side to side, and that's gonna give me a real clean highlight as far as where I should be looking for these weeds. You know, if we get into a scenario where all of a sudden we're seeing fish in 27, 28 on some deep rock, then I can adjust that. But for now, I wanna know where that weed line is, because a weed line that's that good at that depth, at this kind of a clear lake, is almost always gonna hold walleyes somewhere along. So next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna run through some structures, see if we can see some fish on a weed edge, and see if we can catch them. Stay tuned. Alright guys, so I'm coming into a piece of structure here, and it's kind of a shallow hump, less than 10 feet, and there's kind of one big swing that comes off the corner of it here, and it kind of flattens out. And anywhere you have a lot of green, or kind of a flat type of point in that depth range, it's always a likely area to look for fish. So I'm running sonar and side imaging right now. I've got no weeds off to my right now. In fact, soft bottom off to my right. And I'm looking at a weed edge on my left side here. There's even some rock in it, so that's always a good thing when you have rock at this depth mixed in with weeds. And I'm gonna go ahead and highlight this rock, or just throw a waypoint on it. I'll show you guys what I'm looking at here. So I'm gonna throw a waypoint right on that rock, and then I'm gonna cruise right back over the top of that rock, because a lot of times if you have weed in rock, it'll almost center those fish up around something. And I'm not gonna see walleyes on side imaging typically if they're relating right to that rock. This isn't a real big spot, so I don't think there's gonna be like a mountain of fish here, but this is the exact kind of stuff we're looking for. Any kind of uniqueness within a spot, rocks inside a weed bed, a bigger weed point, something like that is always a good place to start. So I'm just coming back up over this rock right now. All right, and there's actually walleyes here. So I'm gonna go ahead and screenshot this for you guys. It's about 15-ish feet down, a little more maybe. And you can see there's some walleyes. You can see them on down imaging right here relating to this spot. So now we're gonna go back, drop a few slip bobbers. Maybe we'll just do one slip bobber and I'll pitch something around and we'll see what happens. Got him?
Hooked up.
How's it feel?
Feels relatively small, but my first fish of the day, so I'm happy.
We need net?
I think we'll be fine.
Oh, it's a walleye. It is the right kind. Look at that, Surly. What do you think?
What do you think? Oh, so glad we got him to bite. Here's the first one of the day. Not a big one, but hopefully we can get some more. Bigger size. I'm happy with this. There he goes.
Alright guys, so we're coming into a hump here that is entirely highlighted in green, which means it's our targeted depth. It looks like the top says about 20 or 19 feet, I guess. We'll flip over to side imaging here. Looks like a little bit of gravelly rock looking stuff as we come into it. I'm just gonna run some down imaging. Alright, so we're already marking fish. There's a couple of them right there. Coming over the top of it here. Flip over to side imaging once. So it's kind of gravelly rock, not really anything big. A couple of fish right there. Another fish, actually a couple fish right on the backside right here. I'll screenshot it so you guys can see it. The problem doesn't seem to be too much finding fish on this lake, but more so just getting them to bite. So we're gonna cruise over it one more time. It's not a very big spot. We can probably either slip bobber here, jig and wrap here. You can do a lot of stuff on a little spot like this. We'll just cruise over it one more time, see what we see. We're coming up on it again here. There's actually a couple marks right off the side. You can see them right here. This is why you always want to be running down imaging and side imaging, because you would not mark those fish, you know, without just sonar. Okay, so here we got big mark right there, which is actually 3 fish. I'll go ahead and zoom in on this so you guys can see it a little bit better. So it's actually a cluster of 3 fish right there. So not a very big spot, a little bit of bait hanging off the edge here. So we're gonna go back, slip bobber this spot, get Shelby going with the slip bobber, and I'll cast some stuff around and we'll see what happens. Got him?
Hooked up.
Nice. I think this one might be bigger, Shelfster.
Feels nice.
Oh, we got a tangled net. Oh, it's a big smallie. Should have known, it came down for it.
Fish on.
Walleye?
Feels like it.
You know what the difference between a walleye and smallmouth?
Nope, but I'm just gonna pretend.
Oh, you don't have the right kind.
Learn.
Got him?
Yep.
Walleye or another smallmouth?
I don't know, Tom. I think it's a smallmouth. But watch, it'll be a walleye.
He's kind of shaking a lot.
Please be a walleye. Nope.
You just don't care.
Me? No, I'm just...
Did you bring it up?
Are you pissed? What?
I want to net this fish.
I'm trying!
You unspot locked us. Now you can't reel your fish in.
Shut up! Stop being a crabby old man. And he's off.
So we aren't catching a lot of walleyes yet, but...
I'm catching a bunch of bass.
And you don't care?
Nope, I'm happy.
Oh my gosh, we got lucky on that one, folks. Little double hook set. Shelby, this could be a walleye.
Let's hope it is for your sake.
Oh my gosh, it is, Shelby.
Finally.
Oh my gosh. I'm so much happier about this walleye than a 20-inch bass.
Yes, I'm not. I could care less.
You could.
Look at this biggin.
Catch it?
Slip bobbering. Tom hasn't caught anything.
Because I've been running your slip bobber.
No, because you're jigging. Clearly they're biting on slip bobbers.
Alright, we might keep that one for dinner. We've been camping and eating either gas station food or all our food got soaking wet, so.
Yeah, I'm ready for a fish fry.
Fish on. some on sonar. I'll show you guys a little bit about what this spot looks like. But there's a nice walleye. It's actually the biggest one of the day here. I'm gonna go ahead and scoop them up. Got him. There we go. So that one, I was just cruising around. We didn't even really film a precursor, but there's a lot of fish here. So I'll kind of walk you guys through on what this spot looks like, what I'm looking for on sonar, and what makes me drop on those fish. All right, guys, there we go. Beautiful walleye. I finally caught a walleye today. Actually, I finally caught a fish today. So that feels pretty good. That one came on a chicken wrap style lure. So we're gonna let that one go. I'll show you a little bit of what this rock, it's a big rock spine. And anytime you see a rock spot that looks like this, it's absolutely worth checking out. There he goes, awesome. Love catching these clear water fish. So I'll show you guys a little bit what the spot looks like. All right, guys, so I hate to jinx it and say we just found the spot, but I think we just found the spot. And that's not because we didn't see it on a map before. It just literally, just kind of progressively working our way through spots from the boat landing out to where we are. And stumbled along this. It's like a big rock spine out here. And it seems to be loaded with fish. So you can see we just kind of popped up on top of it here. I'm gonna just keep cruising along. Not very wide, it's a pretty thin spot overall. This is kind of the shallower, one of the shallower sections of it. So you can already see right here, I got a pile of walleyes. I'll screenshot them so you guys can see them a little bit better. There they are, and it's just more walleyes and more walleyes and more walleyes. This is actually the same spot. We just caught a fish on a jigging wrap, and it's just thick, loaded with fish. So, you know, a lot of times I don't want to bust all these fish out. I mean, it's just unbelievable how many fish are here. It really is. So we're probably going to drop some slips back, and it's a little easier to film it that way, and hopefully catch a bunch of walleyes. I mean, that is just like the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in my entire life. I'm always amazed every time I come to Minnesota just how many walleyes are just in good lakes like this. I mean, it's unreal. Like, you would never see something like this in Hayward or a lot of places in northern Wisconsin. I mean, this whole time I'm talking, it's still just littered with walleyes. Absolutely unbelievable. So we're gonna drop some baits back and see if Shelby can't reel a few walleyes in. But, got him?
Yep.
Catch up to him, catch up to him. Get a walleye?
I think so. Well, now it's pulling.
It is a walleye.
It is.
Got him!
Thank God. It's our fourth walleye of the day. Nice eater. Probably gonna keep it and add to our little fish fry.
Got him?
Yep, hooked up.
Seems walleye.
Yes, it does. Please be a walleye.
Gotta be. Gotta be a walleye. It is a walleye, Shelby. Ooh, it's a squirrely walleye.
Yeah, he is.
Your biggest one of the day.
Got him.
Give us a little recap.
So we were out here, I was slip bobbering most of the time. This is what we were catching them on. This is a nice size walleye. Pretty impressed with myself.
Good work.
Thank you.
So we'll do a little recap of the day here in this new lake. First time ever on it. We've been out here for probably about 3 hours. And let that fish go.
There you go.
What do you think?
That was awesome. Successful day.
Alright guys, so a real quick lake recap. You know, it's my first time out here. I think this lake's like 4,000 or 5,000 acres. Something like that.
Bobber.
Bobber down?
Yep.
Oh, Shelby. Oh, I missed that one. That's alright, we got 2 bobbers down.
Oh God.
I've been yelling at Shelby all day for missing fish. Actually, I haven't really been yelling all day, I wouldn't say.
It was once.
It was once. But anyways, lake recap here. You know, pretty cool lake. I don't want to say the name of this lake just because some buddies told me about it. But pretty cool lake to fish. Very deep, very clear. I kind of feel at home out here as far as how fish relate to structure. This might be a big bass. I'm not really sure. That's another walleye.
Okay, I'll grab the...
Get a shot of that one. Anyways, real clear water. You guys can see that one swimming around down there. Another nice one. Those are absolutely what we came to Minnesota for. You know, this has been an awesome trip so far. This is like day number 4 or 5. Filming a new lake thing, and that's really all you can ask for right there. So anyways, kind of back to the technical stuff here. That thing is angry. Back to the technical stuff here. You know, we started out, we found the weed edge first, and we spent some time, one got right through his mouth hole. We spent some time fishing the weed edge, and it just, there was definitely fish there. We were not super productive there. We came out and we started doing some of these rock spots, and that was extremely productive. You know, these fish, we've been sitting on them a long time. We're not sitting on them for like, you know, 45 minutes, an hour at a time, but you know, it's tough to get the school to kind of fire up. It's kind of one thing I've noticed in some of these Minnesota lakes over here. I don't know if it's just because there's so much bait or what, but you know, we're sitting on them. The live bait's definitely been the deal today. You know, caught one on a jig and wrap, lost one on a jig and wrap, but overall, just a big crawler on a slip bobber has been good. You know, we got some wind today, which is good. Rocks these bobbers around. The other thing to note in this real clear water is we're tying really long leads, like 6-foot leads, basically a whole rod length of lead on the slip bobber to get that weight and that swivel away from the bait. But that's basically your recap. You know, pretty much everything we fished was, I'd say 16 to 22 feet of water right in there, which is pretty much the zone on a lot of these real clear lakes all over the Midwest right now. That's kind of the zone we're fishing. And the slip bobber is obviously a killer in this kind of zone. So thanks for watching, you guys. I know I had a good day. Shelby had a good day. Great. It's only about noon right now, and we're gonna go film something else, hopefully somewhere else, who knows. So stay tuned, thanks for watching.